You know how it is. You just start talking like really quickly.
Absolutely.
But no. Thank you for coming on, mate. I'm not a podcast host, or I've said this on the videos before, but essentially, what I want to do is I want to bring people on like yourself who have been in the game for a really long time because I'm having far too many conversations with fitness coaches and other coaches who are coming into the coaching space and they're just looking at everything as a transaction or how to actually make money from the industry itself rather than actually giving a shit about their clients and actually caring about the coaching industry and actually being a coaching professional. And the reason Haider's on today, and I'm going to get him to talk about his story a little bit more. It's a special one for me actually because Haider was the person that got me into the industry very, very long time ago. So,
That's
what,
a big
14,
prop, mate. Thank you.
14, 15 years ago? A long, long time. Long, long time. So, me and Haider actually came from like the same hometown. And I remember seeing you for the first time in the gym, and you had probably one of the craziest physiques I'd ever seen in person for the first ever time. Obviously, you see it in like magazines and stuff like that. And kudos to Hader. And the reason he's on today is because he has been probably the most disciplined and consistent person I've ever seen in my entire life when it comes to bodybuilding. So I'm not kicking this off blowing smoke at your ass. I'm just saying the facts from obviously my experience. But no, it's an absolute privilege to have him on today. He's a real inspiration to me, and I wanted to bring him on because he's one of the good guys as well. So how are you, my friend?
Appreciate that, mate. That's a really nice intro, mate. Thank you.
You're very
I'm
welcome.
good, man. I'm good. I'm really good. Everything's going really, really well. And, like I said, pleasure to be on today. And thank you for the intro, mate. Josh, we do go way back. Has been a very, very long time since, those days back in Loughborough and
Yeah.
it was Energy, wasn't it? Was it Energy Fitness? Is that
You
what it's
fit for
called?
less, yeah, fit for less than
They
energy.
changed it to Energy, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just randomly closed one day.
Yeah. Hader was the 6 a.m. Stairmaster guy. If anyone's on this, there was one Stairmaster. If anyone took it, it was fuming.
We were making. I made Stairmasters cool when they weren't cool. No one even wanted to go on them back then, did they?
No, they didn't. They avoided it. But no, for any coaches that are watching, do you just want to give a bit of a? It doesn't have to be super long, but do you just want to give a bit of a background about yourself, like who you are? Obviously, I know you, but anyone watching this, it would be really good to hear your story.
Yeah. So okay. Obviously, I'm Haider Medhi. I come from a small town called Loughborough. I, grew up in I guess, a small town kind of environment where, if you're not from a small town, then you might not know, but it was very much. I wouldn't say sheltered, but it was very kind of housed in what it was, and we were all kind of grown up to be with a little bit of a small town mentality in the way of, this is Loughborough, and we are Loughborough, and we're, a little bit chavvy and a little bit kind of a bit rough around the edges kind of thing. I won't go into detail about the things we used to get up to, but yeah, you get the picture. So coming through those years, early years, it was always kind of had a interest in fitness, playing football and sports and everything else like that. So it was always kind of natural to me to be into fitness. And then I don't know about you yourself, Josh, but you come to a point in life where you don't really know what you're doing, and you've got to take a punt at something. You're always getting asked as a kid, what do you want to do when you're older? And I remember it like it was yesterday. I never knew, and I always used to say I don't know. So it came to a point where I'd worked a load of jobs here and there. I'd been to uni. I'd done a lot in a short space of time as a young kind of male. And then it was like, made sense to do what I loved to do, which was train. And I wasn't a bodybuilder at the time. I just used to go to the gym because I'd like training.
Yeah.
And so I got into PTing, went down the personal trainer route, went to Loughborough College, did a personal trainer course,
Yeah.
got my qualification, and then went to a big chain gym, the DW it was. I don't even know if they're still around anymore, but
Not
DW
sure.
gym. I think they took over JJB gyms at the time. I don't know
Uh,
if you remember JJ. Do you remember
are they,
JJB? Sports
yeah,
show?
are they Everlast now? Did Everlast take them over? I'm not sure.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. Essentially,
Maybe.
sure. But it was DW. It was a big change, and it was in Nottingham. So I used to travel there every day, and you're kind of under the cosh there to get a client base to be able to pay your rent. You think you've got 6 weeks free at the start,
Yeah.
and it was 600 quid a month rent or something like that. So obviously you were charging around 25, 30 quid an hour, trying to get enough clients to pay that and make some money. And after
Yeah.
kind of the first 6 to 8 weeks, I was like I was barely scraping by, you know. And I was like, this ain't gonna work. So obviously went back to where I was from, where I'm like in Loughborough. I was a little bit kind of well known because of how I'd grown up and stuff. So I just started PTing out of a little bodybuilder's gym. Obviously, you know Rep Out. Remember where that was?
Yeah.
I think they knocked it
Dynamite.
down. Yeah, no, not Dynamite. The one that was like round the corner.
No, I don't know that one.
So that was
I
probably.
was too scared. I was too scared to go in a gym back then.
Yeah, well, this is really, really spit and sawdust. And they used to charge me £5 a client. And I just started hammering Facebook. And everyone knew me that I was a PT now. So, you know, I ended up getting a really big client base. I ended up doing boot camps twice a week, and they were rammed as well. Our Lodge Farm. So I used to do them on the field there. And I built a really, really successful PT business up within the space of months, really, really easily, just by word of mouth and people knowing who I was. Then I started kind of focusing a little bit more on my physique. People said I should compete. This was what people told me in the gym. I didn't even know what it was at the time.
Yeah.
So then obviously I looked into that, got a coach, Jordan Peters, the whole Trained by JP brand that I'm sure everyone knows of now. And he coached me to my first shows. And then, you know, that's when I was seeing you, I guess, in Fit for Less around kind of probably 2015, 16, those kind of years there.
Yeah.
And then, flying through, competing, ended up turning pro, went to Saudi Arabia, did a job working with PTs, coaching them to be good PTs.
Yeah.
And then, you know, started doing a bit of online work because I had a coach that was online. So I started looking at how that worked. And you only really know, you're at those times there, you know, it was like email was the only way I was speaking to my coach. So I check in once a week. There wouldn't be any conversations in the week. I couldn't just message him on WhatsApp or Facebook or anything like that. It was limited to just an email, succession of emails once a week. And I competed, and then I thought, okay, so this kind of online thing looks quite cool. Like, I was at the time doing like 8 hours back-to-back PT, non-stop, you know, on the gym floor, and I did love it, you know, but it just made sense to have another income stream. I didn't want to stop doing it. And then, you know, that kept slowly built. I remember I was charging like 50 quid a month.
Yeah, I remember,
Yeah. I've still got one client now from back then. And that was fucking 10 years ago. So it was from there that I did it. And then when I got the job in Saudi Arabia, obviously that meant that I had to leave all my current personal training clients and went over there to do that job, which was well paid, but it gave me more chance to push the online game and get more people transition from the gym floor onto online.
Yeah.
Went from there, came back after the Saudi Arabia job, you know, it was a contract job, so it finished. And then I did get back into a bit of PT because, again, it was all I knew. And online wasn't enough then to kind of sustain my living. And by that time, I'd had a kid, I had my son, and I was waiting, like we were going to have my second. It was around kind of 2018 time. So I back into PT, and then I was trying to push online and do PT at once. And it was working well again, and things picked up again and got busy. But online was kind of what I really wanted to drive harder and get more successful with. And it started picking up, and it was doing well. I then actually worked with Elliot for a little bit. That was the first time I'd ever even thought about doing anything like working with anyone to help me with business, because, you know, at those times there, like many coaches now would not even understand what I'm saying, but I would go on to Instagram and say, I'm taking on clients, drop me a message, and I would instantly get inquiries.
I remember. Yeah,
And that was how it was. It's like,
it was so much easier, wasn't it? It was so much easier.
literally, yeah. It didn't seem like anyone was, now you feel like your stories are getting restricted. And if like one day you get higher views, one day you get low, everything was kind of consistent. Everyone would see your stuff and it would be very easy to access
Mhm.
your audience. And, it was like, yeah, super easy anyway. And then from there, things started to get a little bit more difficult, and it wasn't really going where it was. And I just moved to Dubai, and you start panicking, you start thinking about, okay, what's going on? Like, what if this doesn't work out? Or
Yeah.
so I spoke to Elliot, and he actually helped me out a lot. But looking back, he didn't actually help me with the business in terms of getting clients and outreach and stuff. He actually helped me to just improve my systems and how
Yeah.
because I was so basic back then. It's crazy to even think about now. Like you would know because I was working with you around those times. There was there was no Loom videos. There was nothing like that. It was all just WhatsApp messages and Word documents. I'd never done one single call.
Yeah.
I'd signed up all these clients just from DMs on Instagram and stuff like that. And he told me to call people, and I was like, call people. And then I
Yeah.
realized that, okay, when you speak to someone on the phone, it makes a big difference.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so yeah, that helped me a lot. And then, things picked up. I know you said you didn't want this to be a long one, and I'm
No, no, mate, you're fine. Absolutely fine. No,
sorry.
no rush. No
Sorry.
rush.
And yeah, skip forward a few years, I carried on being a bodybuilder. I was fully living in Dubai by this time. We left at like COVID around early 2021. And yeah, things have kind of picked up and thrived and got bigger and bigger. I did a little bit of work with Pro Coach
Hmm.
as a specialist contest prep coach because I thought that's what I wanted to do. But
Yeah.
realizing once I was in that and I was deep into that, I kind of realized that it's not what I wanted to do. And now I'm back pushing Physiques by Haider again hard and
Yeah.
doing well with it. I'm happy with it. But we're never satisfied. We always want more, and I guess that's just how it'll always be. But yeah, skip. I've hurried it up a little bit since, but yeah, that's kind of the story, mate.
No, you're fine. You're fine. No, obviously, a ton of accolades along the way as well. An incredible journey, and I've had the privilege of watching a lot of it as well. And I remember I watched my first. I remember it on my laptop. I used to pull up. I pulled up like a couple of your shows when it was being like live streamed, not when you was actually going for your pro card. And I want you to talk about that a little bit because did you compete and you went for it about 9 times or something like that? How many times did you go for it?
So it was so I started actually working towards getting my pro card in 2019 was the first year that so
Yeah.
basically within bodybuilding there was like a federation called the UK BFF and it was the only way to get a pro card. And then in 2018 they got kind of fucked off and shut down by the
Right.
big league, which is the NPC in the US.
Yeah.
So the pro card is kind of from them because that's where the Mr. Olympia is. They kind of run the whole bodybuilding world, basically.
Sure.
And yeah, the UK BFF closed down and then it went over to Two Bros. And Two Bros and the NPC from the US came over here. Came over to Europe, let's say. And then
Yeah.
it made it much more accessible for people to get pro cards because you could go
Sure.
to different countries and compete for them. Whereas
Right.
before you had to compete in your own country and there was only one a year.
Right.
So when that happened, it was like, okay, let's try and actually win this pro card. So it was
Yeah.
2019. I did 3 shows. Was it? No, 4. I did 4 within a month. I remember
Yeah.
that because I did
Wow.
Iceland, I did Germany, I did
Yeah.
Amsterdam, and then I did Moscow. So it was
Wow.
my first time like really chasing it, and I did go for it straight away. I won 2 of the shows and
Yeah.
just missed out, and then I placed 3rd and 4th in the other 2. Then it was 2020, so it was COVID year, so it was kind of harder to compete that year. There wasn't as many opportunities, but I still managed to get on stage 3 times actually.
Yeah.
Twice in the UK and once in Spain. And I won 2 of those and finished 3rd in the other. So again,
Yeah.
I missed my pro card twice by the skin of my
Jokes.
teeth. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then that took it to 7 shows. And then the year after that, 2021 was the year that I actually got my pro card. And I did, right, this is I did a few that year. 'Cause I was like, I was at that point then. That year was like, if I don't get it this year, then
Yeah.
forget about it. I'm just going to sack it up. And the thing is, I always say this to people, like, don't just keep trying to get your pro card if you're nowhere near it.
Yeah.
The only reason I was kept on going was because, as in a
So
bodybuilding,
close.
yeah, in a bodybuilding show, you've got A, B, C, D, E, F, and sometimes G in terms of height classes.
Yeah.
So you competing in your class against around 20 guys, roughly, let's say. So if you win that class, you then go into the overall with the winner of every other height class. So then it's you against 5 others or whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So then it's very close. So you're all probably worthy that day of winning the pro card. And whoever wins it, right? So I was that close. Within those first 7 shows, I was in 4 out of the 7 of just
wow.
missing on it, right? So, I was like, right, 2021, I'm going for it. And if I don't win it this year, then I'm just not even going to bother again. I'm done. Literally. So, yeah, I did 2021, I did Spain. I think I did Spain twice. I did Portugal. I did Poland. I did Finland. I tried to do Norway, but they turned me away at the border because I didn't have yeah, that was a fucking mad story. they didn't have what was it? Everyone who didn't get vaccinated.
Oh, yeah.
So you usually get the PCP, is it PCR? PRs?
Yeah, in Spain, because I was back and forth in Spain that year, we had an app. It was like a health app, and everything was just stored in there. But you had to have it ticked off, didn't you?
Yeah, exactly. And we didn't have it basically. But then there was like an exemption thing for athletes. So athletes could still travel if they were going to do certain shows. But the show had to be on the list that they had at the border. And because it was a bodybuilding show and it wasn't like an Olympic sport or anything that was really worldwide recognized.
Yeah.
They didn't have it. So they were like,
no, they didn't class it as a sport.
I guess not.
Oh, man.
For fuck's sake. So I got turned away at the border. That literally broke my heart. Then the last one was Denmark. And then I won it there. And then it was like the biggest and hardest show of them all as well. So
yeah. How did that feel? How did it feel after all of those, just almost getting there, finally winning it and getting your hands on that pro card? I watched the bit. I think it was on Cal's YouTube channel. I remember watching the video and seeing the emotion that came out of you. But how did it feel from your side?
It was fucking crazy, mate, because I was in the overall, right? And at that show, because it was such a big show, they actually gave pro cards to the top 3 of the overall.
Right. Wow.
So whereas the small shows only 1 pro card, in that show it's top 3.
Yeah.
And they'd called second. They'd called third and they'd called second. So they'd handed out 2 pro cards. And by then, because of all the other shows, I was like, I've not done it again. I've not done it again. You know what I mean? I was literally hoping for third or second, thinking, I might get that. And then when they called my name, I was just like, what? I could not believe it. I couldn't believe it. I just remember the shock, the moment where I was so kind of lost for words. I didn't know what to say. I thought I was that shocked that I thought, before it, thinking about it and thinking about winning the pro card, I thought, I wonder if I'll cry. I wonder if I'll like really break down. Because I was so kind of like surprised, I didn't really have that ability to connect with my own feelings. It was like,
makes sense.
Yeah, I've won. Like, it's just mad.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. And just the outpour of support and messages, I've never seen anything like it. Like the people were following my journey like they were doing it themselves.
Yeah.
Because no one had ever seen anyone do what I was doing.
No. Not the amount of times.
Country to country, just literally flying to the country, flying back to the UK, whilst my whole family were in Dubai. Like it was like a proper nut job mission, mate. It was mad. Honestly, mate, it was crazy to think of. Like I was so driven to get it. I was not having it. Like, and it was a mad story, mate. It really
Well,
was.
the definition of earning it, and I think this can kind of stem us into a conversation I wanted to have with you because I think there's a lot of new coaches coming in now that are quite. I'll just say it, they're quite entitled in regards to what success that they actually want and what they actually want out of their business and out of their career and everything. And I think you're the perfect role model in regards to you earn what you've earned from your hard work. And like from your perspective, what was the thing deep down in you, and did you learn it from somewhere else, maybe external, or was it in you to just keep fucking going no matter, like, you did not quit? Like, what caused that?
See, there's something within me that I apply to everything, and I genuinely think that sometimes this is not a good thing because of how far I can take things. You know, I
Hmm.
can't. I do not, and this is not just saying this or making it up for this conversation or being on the podcast. Like
Yeah,
I cannot physically quit.
yeah,
There's something
yeah,
inside me that does not allow me to do it.
yeah,
I'll rather fall flat on my face than
yeah.
quit. And this happen. This comes. This is applied to everything I do. You know,
Hmm.
everything. If I'm in the gym and I'm
Yeah,
doing even like a fitness circuit, like a something really hard, like some rowing intervals or something that really busts your gut, like unless I'm dead on the floor, I will not stop. Honestly, it's like
yeah,
that's why I find training to failure so easy because
yeah,
it's
yeah,
it's 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 pushing myself to my full capability as much as I can. So
yeah,
like when I was going for that pro card, it was like I've said I'm going to do it. I've said I want it. I need to
yeah.
fucking fulfill what I've said I'm going to do, and that's a big thing for me. A big thing for me is if you say you're going to do it, then fucking do it.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not trying to be macho or anything. And I understand people have problems and shit happens in life. Like,
Yeah.
that's not what I'm talking about here. I'm not saying ignore, you know, tragedies in your life or things that come up that really do prevent you from doing stuff. But
Yeah.
if the roads are clear and you're able to chase something and go for it, and you've said you're going to do it, then do what you're going do what you said you're going to do. You know, like be a man about it, and let's see this through. You know,
Yeah.
and that passion that I have for life in general and things that I want, I feel like is a little bit lost nowadays, and that's
Yeah.
what these kind of new coaches, and even like as a coach, when you get a client, you know, they
Yeah.
don't really have pride in what they say or what they do. You know, they don't want to.
Yes.
It doesn't matter. Like if I tell you I'm going to be on today at 7 p.m., but I'm not there. It don't
Yeah.
matter. Like it's
Yeah.
not a big deal, but it is. Like where's your morals and where's your respect and where's your
Mhm.
the truth in what you say, you know?
Yeah. Where do you think that's been lost? Do you think it's because I've seen a big shift? I don't know if you have, but it's almost like post COVID. Because I was actually having a conversation with Mark this morning, and we were having the conversation about we started with face to face training, and we had those connections, and we worked hard, and we were proactive when we put the reps in, and then we went online. Whereas a lot of people now post COVID are going straight into online. They're seeing the lifestyle, they're seeing the money, they're seeing the cars, they're seeing all of this, and they're completely disregarding a lot of the things that you're talking about here. Where do you think that's been lost, in your opinion?
I think that the internet is a big one because
Mhm.
everything's a highlight reel and
Yeah,
everyone's trying to sell apart from, you know, I mean some coaches do this, but a lot of the coaching and coaches with people who are coaching people to get in shape, you know, the very I am anyway, we're transparent about it being hard and how you have to
yeah,
be consistent and how you have to
yeah,
work, you know, towards something and it's not going to come overnight, etc.
hmm,
But everyone else in all the other kind of industries, it's get rich quick, you know,
yeah,
make X amount of money and X amount of days. You've got the
yeah,
whole crypto, you know,
yeah,
bull run that stuff that's very, very popular. You also
yeah,
have everybody showing the the high life and the good stuff, and no one showing the hard work and the yards that they put in. And
Yeah.
then you also do get I'm not going to name names, but because they're good lads and they've done well. But there are some coaches out there who have got online and they're very good at selling and they're very good at marketing, and they've
Yeah.
instantly got businesses with 70 plus clients within a
Yeah.
few months. So
Yeah.
they can then market that and show that because they're only telling the truth. But then
Yes.
an average kid is coming up and thinking that that's realistic, where you've got to have that skill. Like, these kids are skilled to be able to get that and do that and manage to get that client base up to where they are. Not saying they're
Yes.
good coaches, but
Yeah.
they've got there because they're good at something, right? And then
Yeah.
average Joe down the road, won't be. So
For sure.
they come to you
Hmm.
and they want you to deliver that, what they see online, what they see this kid who's managed to go from 0 to 70 clients within 3 months, and he's never even been a PT. So I think there's a
Yes.
few different factors, but the prominent one is social media and how things are kind of conveyed and displayed on there, and people aren't talking about the hard work that it takes to get to somewhere.
Of course, of course. And I've had conversations with some of my clients from like a business coaching perspective where they'll obviously go into like that comparison mode where it's I'm not successful, I've seen this person do this, and I've had to have, and it's getting more and more often where I'm having a lot of pep talks with them, and I've got to kind of sit them down and be like, look, you are successful. Look at the impact that you're having. Like that success to them. It doesn't have to be success to you, and success
Yeah,
means different to every single person. And
exactly. Yeah.
in like my opinion as well, like reputation is everything. And obviously the reason we're having this conversation is because like, I met you 14, 15 years ago, whenever it was. You're still in the game, and that's also like very, very important. You're still at the top of your game as well. So what do you think creates a really good reputation like the one that you've got? Because for me, reputation is what other people say about you when you're not listening. And
Yes.
every single person that I speak to, and when your name comes into conversation, they have nothing but great things to say about you. What do you think has created that for you?
So genuinely, I think that, like I just said about morals and standards, and
Yeah.
and how you are kind of raised, I guess.
Hmm.
I was always brought up to be very respectful and have manners and not be a dick to people, not be nasty
Yeah.
to people. That's one side of things, and then how you treat people, and are how you speak to people, how you treat people, how I try my best to make everyone an equal. It doesn't matter whether you're
Yeah.
a pro, you've got 1 million followers. It doesn't change how I'm going to treat you as a person. And then
Yeah.
when it comes to my kind of way of coaching, is I really, really do want to help my clients, and I'll always go above and beyond, and I'll always offer them the things that maybe some coaches won't, and that's that ear, that shoulder to cry on, the ability to contact me whenever they need me,
Yeah.
being the man I am and the places I've been and the experience that I've gained. I don't think that there's much that someone can tell me that I can't offer them some sort of advice with. So I
Yeah.
always make it clear that I can help them and I can offer them that if they need it. I'm not a
Yeah.
psychologist. I tell them that I'm not somebody
Yeah.
who's going to fix their problems, but I can always help them. And when it comes down to, being looked upon as somebody who's um, an honest guy, a nice guy, a caring guy, a hardworking guy, that means a lot to me. So
Yeah.
being able to show that I am that guy, and then people say it is amazing. You telling me that literally makes me feel so good about myself. Forget about your bank balance, what you own, what
Yeah.
assets you have, what you look like. That means nothing if you don't have what you said, and that's
Yeah.
everything. Huh?
Incredible, incredible. No, it's true, and I think a lot of coaches are missing that because I mean, you would have seen how many coaches have come and gone in your time
Yeah.
because they're too focused on the money or they're too focused on the wrong things. And I'll ask you this question: what defines a successful coach today for you?
So for me, I feel like a successful coach is somebody who has sustained a business and a healthy client base. It's not about what you earn. It's not about, like I said, what you own or anything like that. It's about having a decent amount of clients, people that you've held on to, people that want to stay with you, people that come back to you when they've got a goal, and you've managed to sustain a business for a long time.
Yes.
People know what I do. People know that I am a coach, and they know that that's what I do, and I'm good at it. And
Yeah.
for me, if you're unable to sustain a business, now don't get me wrong, you've got to weather the storm. None of us are. Nothing is ever linear. Just like I say to my clients, fat loss is not linear, and neither is gaining tissue. It's gonna be like that. You're gonna have dips, you're gonna have drops, and everybody gets a little bit worried. I've told you. I think it was just like the other week you were asking me how things are, and I was like, oh, it's been a bit of a rocky month, because
Yeah.
we're in the middle of summer. It's not the most thriving time.
Yeah.
You've got to weather the storm. You've got to carry on. You've got to keep doing what you're doing. Double down on your service. Double down on how well you treat your clients and how much you look after them. And your business will continue to work. This is one of the only businesses that's probably going to survive the whole AI influx and how much that's taken over, because you can't replicate this. You can't replicate these conversations and this emotion and the ability to connect with someone.
For sure.
It's having that and being able to convey that across a number of clients and being able to manage them and look after them and keep them moving and keep them happy.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
For sure. I actually did a reel on this, and I think this is a really, really good time for great coaches, because AI coming in, we won't obviously go into like a whole AI conversation, but AI coming in is replacing the transactional coaches, the coaches who are just delivering a training plan, nutrition plan. They're not coaching. Whereas, like, to me, that's someone who's just creating a plan. Whereas a great
mind using ChatGPT to get in shape and then, documenting it as well. It works. It can, you know what I mean? But are they? I mean, and now I don't think it will ever replace kind of like contest prep and the intricacies of peaking an athlete or peaking someone for a photo shoot and stuff like that. But it's definitely something that is which can replace the coaches that aren't able to connect with a client. They're not able to, show emotion, show experience when needed, get your client out of a hole when they may be in one, whether that's physically or mentally. All these skills that I have that, well established coaches have will be around forever because of that,
Yeah, you said human connection there is the most important thing. Like, you can't replace human connection, and like the care, the attention, the reputation, the result. Like, you can't replace any of that. You're 100% right. 100% right.
A guy coming to you, knowing that you're having your first baby now, you've got a thriving business, you've been in the game for a long time. If I want somebody to help me with my business, I'm going to try and get someone who I can relate to, who I can talk to, who I can share some stories with sometimes, and that's the key. You're going to have that. You've got what you've got now. You're only going to improve as a mentor, because the word mentor is something is a a mark of a man that can help people through their experience and their knowledge. And the more experience and knowledge you have, you will have more of that once you've had your baby, you've been through that whole pregnancy and the giving birth, the being there for your missus. There's stories that you don't have right now, but very soon you will. And that's another notch on your belt to be more relatable and more accessible and more, wanted as that mentor. So all these things are going to equip you to be that more emotionally in charge of your ability to help people.
For sure, exactly right. And this is why I've never sacrificed working one-to-one. Like, I've had my own mentors I've invested a lot of money in, and every single mentor I've had has tried to talk me out of working one-to-one with people because it's not scalable. But I can't create the best results I possibly do, and I am doing, by putting someone in a group call or chucking someone in a members portal, because that human connection gets diminished. and that's something that I'll never ever sacrifice. And it's not like you said, it's not about the money. It's about the impact that you have and the results that you have. And
So true.
it kind of leads me into my next question because there's a lot of newer coaches now, and I don't want this to be like an attack on like newer coaches because
No.
there are some phenomenal ones. There's some
Yeah.
great coaches out there, but there's a lot that I'm speaking to who are very afraid of investing in themselves. And obviously, you invested in Jordan Peters, like you said, in your earlier career, invested in Cal, invested in business coaches, courses. Like you've
Yeah.
always invested back in yourself, whether it's through money or time.
Always,
Uh,
always.
why did you go down that route? Why did you make those investments? And also, what would you advise newer coaches?
You have to always remember, right, that you don't know it all.
Yeah,
The minute you think you know it all, you're finished.
yeah,
As we see all the time now, there's always um, new breakthroughs coming out. Now, like I was having a chat today with a couple of lads. One's a very, very good coach and very good friend, and one's actually one of my clients.
Mhm.
And obviously, the GLP ones like semaglutide, Ozempic, Manjaro, and all that.
yeah.
There's actually one now. I'm not going to go deep into this. Don't worry. But
No, you're
there's
fine.
one
You're fine.
now called retatrutide. I don't know if you've heard of it.
No, not at all.
So this one is being used by bodybuilders especially because
Right,
the others massively, massively restrict your appetite. Okay. And
right,
then you can obviously lose muscle. You can't eat. I heard of people don't even want to drink water on them. But
right.
this
Okay.
doesn't do it to that extent. And it also has um, blood glucose management aids. It can actually directly help with fat loss. It can
Right.
help with, like cellular regeneration. Like on paper, it looks amazing. And it
Yeah,
slightly brings your appetite down a little bit. So it makes things a lot easier to prep on, to get in shape with, right?
sure.
So there's new stuff coming out all the time.
Hmm.
And if you're not able to learn off somebody, how do you
Yeah,
expect to be able to help people more with the
yes.
knowledge that's coming out? Now, if
Hmm.
I don't know anything about that drug, then I can't use that drug, and I can't advise anybody to use that drug. I can't,
Yeah,
prescribe it to anybody. And
yeah,
if the vast majority of coaches are educating themselves on that drug, then what happens to me? I get left
yes.
behind because I'm not able to use the
Yeah,
new drug that is very, very helpful, let's say. I'm not fully
yes.
convinced on it yet, so I'm not saying that's what it is, but you
Yeah,
know, these are the things you've got to know. Like working with Jordan Peters, like Jordan's my mentor and has been for 10 years, literally.
yeah,
He's there when I need him. I speak to him whenever I want. I can get information and have conversations with him. I've got
yeah,
Callum,
yeah.
race again, same kind of figure. Um, I don't know if you guys know about the muscle doc, Jordan Shallow, Dr. Jordan Shallow.
I don't personally know.
So he's probably one of the most educated guys when it comes to training and mechanics and how you should lift and how you shouldn't lift. And
Sure.
even, it is so deep. It goes way
Yeah.
over my head sometimes, but he's actually a close friend and like a mentor, also somebody that I've trained with for a very long time. And
Amazing.
someone I learned from. And then obviously there's just the courses and the seminars and
Yeah.
the amount that we've gone through over the years that we will continue to do because, like I said, if you feel like you know it all, then you're finished because
Yeah.
there's always new things to know and you will never, ever be as smart as you want to be.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I think there's a big difference between a coach and a professional as well. And obviously, you're on the professional side. You're a pro, right? And I think any professional will always be resourceful enough to invest in themselves. It's like any professional athlete. I remember when I started in my career, mate, I was on £500 a month when I invested in you for the first time. I was on nothing. I remember hiring my first mentor and taking money out of our wedding savings to get that first mentor over the line. Like it's being resourceful enough to understand exactly what you're saying, that there's people that can unlock that next level in your head because your head can manipulate and control everything, and you don't know
Honestly,
it.
Josh, you know what it is as well? Like a great leader, in my opinion, has
Mhm.
to know what it's like to be led. and you've got
Yes.
to be able to understand instructions and then follow them. I always say this to everyone who I'm going to work with, who's going to help me. I say,
Yeah.
listen, I'm the best client that you will ever have.
Hmm.
You tell me what to do and I'm going to do it. I'll do it, and I'll do it to the best of my ability,
Yeah. Yeah.
If I'm being coached, if I'm being mentored, if I'm being, any kind of hierarchy system that is bearing down and helping me, I will follow. And
Yeah.
that, if you aren't able to do that, then you aren't able to give instruction and lead as good as you would like to, because you don't know what it feels like to be able to be led. So you've
Yes.
got to allow yourself to be in that position to then be good at leading and helping your own people. So there's that element to it as well, I feel is very important.
I love that. I love that. What's next for Haider? What's next for the business? What's next for your future? Are you going to compete again, or what?
I
Like, what's your goals for the business?
I'm going to compete again for the last time this year.
Nice.
And then I'm going to call it a day on the whole competing side of things. But although I've competed a lot over the years, I actually haven't competed for 3 years now.
Right.
It will be
Damn,
3 years.
that's gone fast.
It
God
really
damn, that's gone fast.
doesn't feel like that at all. So I will be competing in the next few months,
Sure.
hopefully. And as far as the business goes, I mean, I was going to say it earlier, like working with some mentors in the past, they've always tried to get me to take coaches on straight away and all that. And
Yeah.
I'm very reluctant to do that. And
Yeah.
it's big. And I know at some point I need to do something like that to really, really expand the business.
Yeah.
But I just feel like until I'm really happy with where everything's at and I'm controlling things very well, I don't want to let somebody take my reputation and my name and look after people that I'm unsure how they're going to be.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there's an element of restriction because of my own inability to kind of trust and let go.
Yeah.
But it is something that I do want to do. I do want it to grow, but I know that there's still a lot that I can do on its own with my
Yeah.
own power and my own kind of time that I know that I can deliver to it. And once
Yeah.
competing's going to be out of the way as well, I'll really kind of go all in a little bit more on it. But I have other businesses and income streams as well, so it's not just
Yeah.
coaching. So yeah.
Sure, exciting times, and you don't have to scale with a team. I mean, I was on that trajectory of doing that with momentum as well, and I've very recently just stripped things back. It's just me now. I'm a solopreneur, and
Yeah.
I'm making more money, having more fun, having more impact, and it's just me, and that's
This is
okay.
it. This is what I'm talking about. I feel like I don't know why they did it, because the guy I was working with, it was like, as soon as he came, like, don't get me wrong, amazing guy. But as soon as he
Yeah,
came in, it was like, right, you need to get a coach. And I was like, why? I was like, I'm not
yeah,
too
yeah,
busy. I don't want to. You know what I mean? And it was like,
yeah,
so I don't really get what the hype is or why the need or want to do that is. But, for me, it's like you just said, like, I'm making the best money I've made in a long time, and
yeah,
well, ever. And it's just me, and I've got a great routine with work, and I control things very well, and all of my client base are happy. That's one thing I feel like I've kind of always been able to say, is every one of my clients is happy with where they're at. They're happy with the service they're getting, and we talk regularly, and everything's fine. So
yeah, yeah.
who
And
knows how it'll go, but I do want it to grow, and I'll probably be on to you about it. It's doing
anytime.
work.
Anytime. But no, I think that's it. I think it became quite sexy to have another coach and hiring, especially over the last couple of years. But I mean, mate, I've been there where, especially with the last coaching company I was a part of, as you know, like that was doing multiple millions a year, and it was scaling fast, and it was. But we started to lose that connection and that impact. And now what I've built with momentum, I've built a model now where obviously I'm passing that down to clients. I mean, I've got Noah who messaged me yesterday. I put it on my story today. He's doing like 40 grand a month. He's on his own.
Wow.
Like, it's a lot of money. Like, you don't need a team, and you don't need people behind you if you do things efficiently, you do things right, and you're structured with everything. And I
Yeah.
think it's just this sexy thing to be like, oh, I've got another coach, so it looks like you're doing better than you actually are. But again, success is different for every single person. You might be someone that wants to grow a massive team. You might be someone who's gone through what I've gone through. I want a bit more time back so I can actually be a present dad.
Yeah.
So it's success is very different. But no, that's been awesome, mate. I really appreciate your time as always. I think it's a lot.
It's always a good sign when the time flies and you don't feel like you've been talking for that long. You know, it really, really nice to have a chat, bro. It really was.
Always. What would be the one thing? So any coaches that are watching this who are stuck, they're stagnant, maybe they're new in the game, maybe they've been in the game for a little bit of time and they don't feel successful. What would be the last thing that you'd like to leave them on from your experience in your career so far?
So, without, sounding a little bit airy fairy or whatever, I really do believe that when, those times that these coaches are feeling like, I'm going to talk to the coach now. So, the times that when you're feeling down and you're probably comparing yourself to other coaches, probably seeing what they say they earn and what they're doing with their lives and where they are and everything else. Firstly, they're only going to show you the good bits. And you don't know what is going on in the background. You don't know how much they actually are earning or what they're living. So don't get sidetracked by that and think that everything they say is the truth. Because smokes and mirrors and all that shit is very, very much a thing on social media.
Yeah.
Secondly, look deep down into yourself and ask yourself, could you be better? Could you be doing better? Whenever I have a rough month or I've lost some clients, what I instantly do is go straight back to all my current clients and I look over conversations and I look over how I've been with them and interacted with them, and have I been prompt with my messages back to them? Have I missed anything? And then I just double down on my service and make sure to look after them even better. Right? First thing. Second thing. If you are really in this for the right reasons and you're doing everything that you want, that you should be doing, like I said, you look back on everything. Are you doing everything you should be doing? Are you working hard and doing all of your social media posts, making sure that you're present on your stories, making sure that you're showing some sort of your life, and you are showing that you are a good coach and that you know what you're doing? And if you are doing those things that you know that you should be doing, just be fucking consistent with it and don't give up when it gets hard. If there's one thing that you would have learned from this conversation that I've had with Josh today is, when the going gets tough, you don't get going. You keep on working hard. You don't just drop and quit and leave. If I was that way inclined, I would have never achieved what I've achieved so far. I would not be a professional athlete. I would not be where I'm at today with 3 kids, a successful business, a lot of experience, great friends and peers who I respect and respect me within the industry, and having these conversations with Josh today, being invited on,
Yeah.
no one's, very few people's, let's say, some people are very, very lucky like unicorns, but no one's kind of road to success is an easy one.
Yeah.
They will all have had massive doubts and worries and stresses and times where they want to quit and times where they think that they're never going to make it, but they didn't quit and they stayed consistent and consistently worked hard until they got to where they wanted to get to. So keep doing what you're doing and just don't give up on it. There's plenty of bread for everyone to eat, I believe, in this game, because there's so many coaches out there, but not that many great ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's someone for everyone. So keep working and keep doing what you're doing. Just be consistent. And that's the word, isn't it? Consistency. Every bodybuilder, every athlete, every mentor, I'm sure, says it all the time. But there's a reason everyone says it all the time. And it's because it's so true. If you're not consistent, then don't expect to get anywhere with any.
Yeah. Completely agree. And like, opportunity's evergreen as well. It's like human beings are being born every day, money's being printed every day. So there's opportunity every single day. So no, mate, thank you so much again for your time, for your energy, for this conversation. Where can people find you? So if you want to get in elite shape, Haider's someone that I trust. So where can people find you?
Instagram is probably the best one. Physiques
Yep.
by Haider. Very easy to find. I'm not just, that guy who's out for money. If you do ever want any help, drop me a message. I'm happy to help people in the DM if they need any advice or tips. Just message me.
Yeah, brilliant. I'll attach his Instagram directly on this YouTube video anyway, so you can just literally click, find him super easy. But no, thank you again.
Thank you, brother.